Anyone who has had chronic pain or disease knows that it can affect all aspects of your life in a negative way.
Absolutely. Dr. Manon Bolliger is an expert on pain elimination and chronic diseases, and she joins us this morning to talk about ways to care for yourself and hopefully eliminate the pain. Good morning.
Good morning.
I've got an important question. What are the 3 mistakes that you should never make if you're diagnosed with cancer or any other incurable disease?
Well, the first mistake you should never make is to identify yourself with a diagnosis, because a diagnosis is like a story. It's a label, but you have another story. You know how you got there. So people often wear their diagnosis like a mask, and I say take the mask off and take some responsibility for the parts that got you there. Look at your life and examine it. And the second mistake you should never make is to actually shoot the messenger. Because when our body talks, it's trying to tell us something, right? So it's not speaking for no reason. It's creating symptoms so that we listen. And people get really angry with their bodies, but that's the wrong approach. We have to take some responsibility, some agency, and really look at what the body's saying, and then look at alternatives. How can we fix what we've done so far? And the third mistake that we should never make is to mistrust our own intuition, because our intuition is like a compass, and we all have a unique path to our own health and to our own health destiny. And so that means we also have a unique solution that is right for us.
So why do you think we don't listen to our bodies? Because I do believe that most of us don't.
No, I think it's because we're really in a quick fix society. We abdicate our responsibility and we say, oh, I'll just go to a doctor and they'll fix it, you know? And instead of looking in and going, gee, I wonder how I got there in the first place. Look at my stress, my life. You know, what can I do? The foods we eat, the choices we make. And I'll just throw in a quick thing here, but I just went last night to, it's in downtown Tucson. I went to Bianco Pizzeria.
Oh, yes.
And oh my God, they know everything that goes in there. They look at all the ingredients, all the local contributors to the cheese, to this, everything is known, everything is clean, everything's organic. And that's like a simple choice we can make. Choose to eat real foods as opposed to, you know, canned foods or processed foods and all that, which are full of nitrates, full of junk, you know. So anyway, but I really came to care deeply about this. One, because I've had, you know, 2 decades of experience as a doctor, but I also was a statistic. I had stage 4 cancer and multiple sclerosis. And I completely cured myself naturally. And what I realized in this healing journey is that I was not afraid of dying. I was actually afraid of living, you know, and that's the thing of expressing myself, of connecting, you know, to my inner self. And I think when you look at a lot of people, they're not living their full life. And so, you know, what I wanted to share, you know, with your audience is a simple way to remember 4 key points, and it's under LIVE. And L stands for love, because you've got to love your body. You've got to love yourself in order to heal your body. And stop making fear-based decisions. It's just not going to get us anywhere. We really need to connect. And I is for inquiry. Of course, we need information to heal our bodies, right? But that may require to do an audit on our thoughts, right? And our belief systems, completely reframe our pain. Because the way we got here is what made us sick. So we actually have to change that. And then V is values, right? We have to create our own core values in health. And that's important because we're going to have tons of choices of treatments. We're going to have chemotherapy. We're going to have natural therapies. We're going to have therapies we've never even heard about. And what's going to be important is to align ourselves and decide, are we going to work with our body, or are we going to suppress our symptoms? Are we going to be victims, or are we going to be agents in our own health destiny? And lastly, E is engage in the possibility that you can heal. Because if you can get sick, you can get well. And that's really what I want to share, because when you realize that, or at least I realize that how you live is actually how you heal. And we sort of separate it from that. It's all one thing.
Right. You've really changed my perspective. I mean, some of those little tidbits that you said make so much sense, but we think of the latter. Like, I'm not in control, and you know, just how you said, like, the choices you've made have gotten you to this point, whether it is cancer or MS or something like that, because the choices that we personally make affect our bodies.
Absolutely, and then if we sort of resign ourselves to, you know, go to a help group that supports this vision, or that believes that the only thing you can do with MS is sort of try all these drugs that they're experimenting with, and it's like, well, maybe not, you know, maybe we could look at what we eat, what we put in our mouths, or, you know, in my case, it was looking more deeply into myself. Why am I not standing up for myself?
Right.
You know, what's going on here? So my legs had to give way, right?
Right.
So I saw it as a symbol, you know. I looked at my symptoms as metaphors for my own life. And I went, okay, well, how can I work with that? And then what other therapies out there, like homeopathy, like Bowen, those are all therapies that really work with the body. And so, you know, I had to do some research, right?
I love that. Fight for you, right?
Yes,
Doctor,
absolutely.
thank you very much for your perspective this morning.
Thank you very much for having me here.
And you can go to her website, drmanonbolliger.com, and you can get a copy of her book, What Patients Don't Say If Doctors Don't Ask. You can also access many of her online programs and receive a free copy of How to Find the Right Doctor and Healthcare Team for You. For more information, you can call 866-362-6936. And again, her website is drmanonbolliger.com.